Hello, and welcome back to TOPiAN Magazine for issue 4, Unscripted with Ashanté. So yeah, it's the second year of the magazine, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know if anybody knows this about me or not, but for my creative practice, I try to assign a number of the year. So last year's number was 11. You can also learn more about the number of the year on the inside flap of every magazine, if anybody cares. But 11 represents idealism, enlightenment, creativity. So this year, the number of the year that I decided on was 1, which represents a lot of things, but mainly the thing that everybody thinks about is new beginnings. So with that being the number of the year, I feel like I've had a topic on my heart for a while, which is the journey of the self-taught artist. So if anybody knows me, you know I'm a self-taught artist. But I feel like that story, like the journey of the self-taught artist, like I respect artists in all capacities, of course, but I feel like being a self-taught artist is just a struggle that you can only relate to if you are also a self-taught artist. So it only made sense for me to feature one of the most, accessible self-taught artists to me, which is Ashanté Josey. Ashanté and I have known each other since middle school, high school. And yeah, Ashanté grew up here in Pittsburgh. She's very established in the local art scene and beyond. But I just felt like her story was very unique because she's really somebody that I look up to in the art space and in a lot of other ways. But just somebody who, is self-taught and really made it. Like, is really respected, widely respected as an artist. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about her story and, kind of highlight it to not only give her flowers, but also to, provide encouragement to other self-taught artists who might be starting out, or, just being able to see, like, here's somebody who did it against all odds and made it and is doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it only made sense. So we talk about a lot of things. We talk about her upbringing. We talk about both of our hopes and dreams for the Pittsburgh art scene and beyond. And yeah, we just vibe out over coffee, something we both love. And we talk about, those things and many other things that you will only see if you tune into the interview. So yeah, it's a great conversation. I think you'll really enjoy it. And yeah, I guess that's it. Without further ado, this is Unscripted with Ashanté Josey. Coming onto my my magazine. This is issue 4. This is called Unscripted because me and you obviously are both self-taught artists, and I just feel like I've wanted to talk about that journey because I don't feel like it's really talked about often. And just recently, I feel like a lot of times I be struggling with the idea of being like, it's okay.
Sorry to hear it.
You all good. I feel like a lot of times I struggle with the idea of being like self-taught versus what if I would have just did something like straight out of school, if I would have just gone to art school or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I felt like you would be the perfect guest for this issue, especially since you're so established in the Pittsburgh art scene. So yeah, I guess it's just gonna be a cool interview.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, no problem. And okay, with that being said, let's get started. I'm curious about your upbringing, which I know a little bit about because I got the family scoop. But
that's my perspective,
right? But I want to hear your perspective of you could just start from childhood, like how you grew up and how you got to kind of where you are today.
So just like my upbringing in regards to art or in general?
You can just kind of give like a background of your upbringing in general and then how it like related to like you kind of get into art like as you get to high school.
Right.
You can kind of thread it through art as you go, but.
All right. Okay, yeah, so I am the middle child of
Period.
two sisters. And yeah, we all grew up super close. So we were born in Braddock, and then we like spent a lot of our younger years in Swissvale. And when we were in Swissvale, we went to Woodland Hills for like 2 years for elementary, and then we went to private school, which was a Christian school called Greater Works.
I heard a lot about Greater Works.
Yeah, Greater Works was an interesting school, honestly.
I heard about it. I definitely heard about it. I had Mont and Jasmine and them went there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, at least Monte and Jasmine, I know they did. That was the first time I ever heard of it, but yeah.
Very interesting, because it's like people from all over, you know?
Right.
So, we lived in Swissvale and Penn Hills when we were going to Greater Works, and then we moved to Monroeville when I was going into the 7th grade.
Okay.
So, that's when I started going to Gateway and graduated from Gateway, and that is probably when my art journey started, actually, around 7th grade, I would say.
Okay, so yeah, I was going to kind of feed off of that. Like, what was your introduction into art?
Yeah, I would say my mom was really a creative person, so she had creative friends too. So like my godmom was really creative, and we spent a lot of time with my godmom. And I just remember like being very competitive with coloring and coloring books. Like I just had to have the best one all the time. Like it had to be like in the lines. And I remember like the feeling I got from like making sure mine was better than the adults. You know?
Like, you did the dark outline?
Yeah.
And then shaded in facts. You gotta do that. You gotta do that.
I think that was like when I first started liking art. And then I think like once like Barbies and Bratz dolls we started playing with those. I was really into like their clothes and like the shoes and changing the outfits and stuff. And I actually started drawing Bratz dolls for people. Like I had a Bratz doll folder, and I would like trace the Brat and then change the outfits, like, you know, like
mix and match. That's cool.
And like people at church, like little kids at church, always wanted my drawings. So I would like give them to the kids, and then I started drawing shoes. I started doing the same thing for like Air Forces. I just was like in love with Air Forces when I was younger, so I would just draw a shoe and then just redesign it, you know, and then like give it to like kids. The kids loved my stuff.
Yes,
and that is probably how I like got into art. That's when everyone started to recognize that I was actually like pretty good at art.
Right. So you said your aunt and your mom were creative. Like, what did they gravitate towards creatively? Like, what ways did they express themselves?
I would say just like decor, you know, like decorating homes, or just even how they were with the way they dressed us as kids. Like you could just tell they had like a creative vision. But I remember just having projects, you know, like Valentine's Day just passed, so you know they're making Valentine's Day boxes, and I remember like just really enjoying stuff like that, and like my mom and like my godmom really getting into it and really making sure like they were the best. So
yeah, that's cool. That's like really crafty. But I will say about your family, like y'all definitely like anytime there's like a theme or like a party, like y'all are really into that. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's what my mom did.
Yeah, that's dope. So you come to Gateway in 7th grade, and you're starting to draw, Bratz dolls and shoes for your friends or kids in school. And that's crazy because kids in school know how to hustle. Because, you know, you probably could have sold that, right? And they'd be like, oh, give me 25 cents or give me an extra.
I had neighbors knocking on my door like, where my shoe at? Where my shoe drawing at? I'm like...
So they acting like it's real shoes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Did you ever do, like, do you remember Nike ID?
Yeah.
Like in high school, you could go on and you could like design your own shoes. I used to do stuff like that and then like never have the money to buy them. Like
that just made me think about even like when there was like little, I don't remember what they were called, but we used to design like girls, like their hair, their makeup, like their nails and stuff. Like it was like a big face or something.
Are you talking about, is it IMVU? Do you remember
I don't remember, but I just remember being obsessed with it.
Yeah.
When I was younger. I don't even remember how old I was. But.
Yeah, I used to be in all those games. Like, I would play IMVU. Sims was another big one because you could design, like, their whole house in Sims. So, yeah, but yeah, everybody knows I was a computer nerd. But, okay, so you're in 7th grade, and then you transition to high school. And I know because I know you, but... kind of walk us through your art journey in high school, or just like your journey in general. Like, what were you gravitating towards? You know, of course, high school, you're starting to think about college, what you want to do with your life. Like, I guess my question is two-part. Like, one, did you know from the jump, like, I want to be an artist and that's all I want to be? And then you kind of got discouraged throughout it? Or, you know, was it something else?
I would say that I always felt like I wanted to do something creative. Like, I didn't know what. I was, like, into all types of different things. Like, I remember I wanted to be a fashion designer. Mm-hmm. So I remember taking a sewing class in high school. Or middle school, actually. And we, like, made, like, heating pads.
Oh, I think, in home ec. Yeah, we had that class.
And I remember just, like, falling in love with sewing. I already kind of was into, like, fashion and stuff because my mom was just really into it. But, I remember, like, wanting to be a designer. So my mom bought me a whole big sewing machine, a big mannequin, and, like, what's it called? All the things I needed, fabric. And I started just, like, sewing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have, like, the patterns or anything. I just started, like, making stuff. And I just knew I was going to be a designer. Then at one point, I wanted to be a singer. I couldn't sing, but I felt like I could.
That's all I was, too.
Like,
that's some growing up in the church stuff, because I grew up in the church, too, which I guess we didn't really talk about. But, you know, both of us are pastors' children, PKs. So, you know, I feel like if you growing up in the black church, like, you're destined to want to become. It's hard to not want to sing or, like, be involved in music in some way, but I ain't have the singing chops for it either. But.
Right, but I would be doing all the talent shows. My mom actually put us into a modeling agency, so, like, she had me act. Like, wanted to be an actor, so I'm like that was my talent, was acting. I would act out the 13 going on 30 scene when she turned
30. Oh, 13,
30, yeah. So, yeah, like, you know, I was just into everything. Then I, you know, started leaning more towards actual visual arts when I was in high school. And my mom, like, literally invested in all of it. Like, anything that I wanted to be or do, she was making it happen, you know? So, high school. Sorry, that was a tangent.
No, it's cool.
High school. So, yeah, you know, high school, you get to pick your electives. So, every semester, I was picking an art elective. It didn't matter which one it was. I was picking them, and I loved everything. I loved like paper mache. I remember making like a Mario out of paper mache. It was so cool. I loved like sculptures. Like, so I made like some cool stuff. I made like a sandwich one time. My mom still has this stuff too. And then I started taking Carson's class. I love Carson.
Right.
I love him. And this is when I started. He was like a portrait artist. Like, he was good at everything, but like what I saw him do mostly was like portraits. He had twins. He was doing portraits of the twins. It was like so beautiful to see it come to life. And I started getting into portrait work. So the first portrait that I ever done was actually a portrait of my mom. And she actually has it hanging right now on her wall in her house.
You drew it or you painted it?
I painted it. Yeah, I didn't know much about paint, so like if you see it, you'll be like, people clown me for it because they're like, why her hair so light but her face so dark? Like, you know, but I was just learning, you know?
Right.
That was the first painting portrait I did. The actual first portrait I've done of myself was of myself, and it was a color pencil. That's a lot of the stuff that Carson worked with his work is color pencil, which was, my mom has this too. It was an interesting portrait. I thought I did a pretty good job, but I think that's when I like started to fall in love with just artwork, period, especially like portrait work. And then it wasn't until Daryl passed away, my ex in high school, that I like really started to like dive into the healing aspect of art.
Right.
You know, so like I remember I would go to Carson's class for like when we had like those periods where we didn't do anything. We might have been in the cafeteria. What were they called? I was thinking of that.
Study hall.
Study hall. He would let me come to his class, and like I would just like create art that was about Daryl. And I remember like what it made me feel like, and I just like fell in love with art. I remember like literally nothing else mattered. Everybody was like tuned out. I'm listening to music and I'm just like creating whatever.
Right.
And I like I painted a portrait of him, and I think that was probably like my best portrait that I've made in high school. And I'm like, ooh, like I think I could do this. So yeah, I hope that explains how I got into like portrait art.
No, definitely. I was gonna say, like, for me, like, I feel like I was very similar. Like, for me, sadly, it took a loss for me to really like get more into art. That was kind of the catalyst for me. You know, I was also a creative my whole life, yada yada, whatever. Not my interview, but that was a catalyst for me. So I guess it's safe to say that was basically the catalyst for your entire not your entire artistic journey, but really to get you like focusing on art.
Yeah, it definitely changed the way that I view art. Like I'm like, oh, this actually like is healing me.
Right.
And I didn't even know, you know, until like after the fact.
Right.
But
so after that happens in high school, you start diving more into portrait art and you start falling in love with it. So at that point, did you decide like, I want to go to school for this, or?
Yeah, at that point, I was in love with it, like in love. And I in my mind, I'm like, I already like, everyone thought that I was going to be a lawyer. Everyone was ready for that. So
that's like what you wanted to be your whole life.
That's what I was told I should be.
Right. There's a difference for sure.
So, and I'm the type of person I feel like I could learn anything, do anything, you know, whatever I put my mind to, I could do. So I'm like, you know what, cool. If that's what y'all want to see from me, that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But it wasn't until like I think it was my junior year when I started applying to colleges that I'm like, oh, like I actually want to like go to school for art. And I was talking to my art teacher about it, and he was like, don't do it.
That's crazy.
He's like, don't do it. Like, there's no money in it, and like, just do something else.
Right.
And that really did help me make the decision that I did make, which was to study political science and not art. But I did end up taking art classes. I didn't know any other artists, so that was the only person I knew to listen to when it came to that.
Right.
So, yeah, I took art classes every semester in college too, just because I felt like I needed to, just for me. But yeah, I didn't pursue art in school, and it wasn't until I graduated college that I'm like, I need art. Like I need it. Like I was like itching. Like
right. Like I can't get these feelings out any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I feel like a lot of times, and this is just like in life in general, like I feel like a lot of times people put their like unrealized dreams, like the weight of their like them not being able to realize their hopes and dreams onto other people. Like, and I know Carson, I love him, just like anybody else. He's a great person, great artist. But yeah, in that moment, like his advice to you was probably, just coming from like protection, trying to protect you from, you know, whatever heartbreaks he might have felt, trying to make it in the art world. But it is crazy because it's like if our society wasn't set up the way it was, like why is art school not seen as any other major? Like I never understood that. Like I don't get why. It's almost like people almost see it as like anything in the arts, like music. Like if you go to school, they'll be like, why are you going to school to be a singer?
Right.
Like, but nobody says that to anybody who goes to like NYU for any of the arts. If you go to NYU for the arts, they're like, oh, this is the next Emmy winner. This is, you know, but so I feel like for people who are in that like in between, like if you're not going to like the big name schools or whatever, it can be like discouraging, and that's just like sad to me. But it's nice that you like at least you continue to do art in college, because I do think that, you know, taking those classes in college, just getting that from a college, well, one, you have another perspective, so you're meeting artists in your classes and you have a college level professor, and two, just to keep, you know, working that muscle. So you took classes, but what were you majoring in?
I majored in political science and I minored in history.
Oh. You know what's crazy? I was a political science major going into college, and it literally took my first like class. I think it was like American government. I was like, I hate this shit. Like I'm not doing this.
I hated it too. I'm like, oh my God. And I think my teachers hated me just as much as I hated them in the classes. Like they're like, Ashanté, like you're not participating. Like why? I'm like, I'm not even here.
Right. Like I hate this.
Like for real. I think the only classes I really looked forward to going to was art and philosophy.
No, honestly, that's crazy. That makes so much sense, because I really like sociology, which is different, but it's kind of the same. I also had a philosophy class, but it's crazy because like those two things are so integral to being an artist too.
Right.
Like, politics and, you know, psychology, or you said philosophy, sociology, all of those inform your like art practice, whether you like it or not.
It does.
It's literally your vision, like how you see the world.
Literally.
So,
so I think it still plays a big role in my life, you know, what I study for sure.
right.
But I still wish that I would have got a little bit more experience, you know, with like professors and professionals in the art world.
Right. So you graduated, like your degree is in poli-sci.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I don't know how you did 4 years.
Oh my gosh! Like it wasn't until I like got into my senior year where you know you get into your 400 level classes where I started to really care about the stuff.
That's really how it is.
It was like I'm in more into like women's studies, and you know like you get to like basically like figure out what it is that you want to like study.
Right. Yeah.
So it became more, you know, important to me then.
So, okay, so you graduated with a degree in political science, and what's your next step? Like,
After I graduated,
yeah.
I took my LSATs because
For real?
I did.
Oh, you're bold as hell.
I know. I was going to law school. Like that's why I studied poli-sci, because I had a vision. You know, I had a goal.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving to San Francisco right after I graduated college. And I'm out there living with my sister. She was living there at the time. And we lived right in the city. It was beautiful. I loved every bit of it. And I was studying for my LSATs. And then while I was studying for my LSATs, I was actually looking into some like law firms that I could possibly like intern at or just get some type of experience. But nothing was working out for me. Like even like the LSAT part. Like I had scheduled to take my LSAT in San Francisco. And then me and my sister had went out and we got, you know, San Francisco is known for like pickpocketers. Mm-hmm. And she had my phone and my ID. And like the first night we go out, she gets pickpocketed.
That's crazy.
Like she had a crossbody on. And they took it out her purse.
Yeah, they
took my ID. So, and I couldn't get a state ID in San Francisco at the time, so I couldn't take my LSAT. I paid for it, everything. Couldn't take the LSAT there.
That's literally like divine intervention.
Literally. So anyway, I ended up taking my LSAT back in Pittsburgh, and I did okay. I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I did okay to still like apply to some schools, and I did end up applying to some schools. I didn't really get into any school, so I'm like, you know what? I don't even really want to do this,
right?
So I want to paint. So I actually moved to Atlanta and found an apartment that, you know, had a sunroom in there. I'm like, oh, this is where my studio is going to be at. But I didn't love Atlanta. It didn't really work out well for me. So I moved back home. And as soon as I got back home, I started painting. I just was like, I need to paint.
Right. Like you've been missing out basically for the past.
Yeah, I'm like stressed trying to like live up to these expectations that are not my own.
Right.
You know, I'm literally like stressed.
Right.
And the only thing I can think of is I just gotta paint. I'm not making no money. I don't have a job. I need to paint. Mm-hmm. And I painted. I just like literally painted this painting. And I think it was called like Magic or something. It was like a black girl with an afro, and like I used colors that look like the universe. And I posted it on Facebook like, yo, hey, look what I painted. Because Facebook didn't know that I was a painter. I never posted my work prior to that. And all these people were like, how much is that? I want to buy it. And I ended up selling it like that day for $60. And then someone else was like, I want that painting. So I didn't know nothing about prints or anything. And I ended up repainting it. Like, okay, like, you know. So that is how my art journey started as like my professional career as an artist, actually.
Right. So yeah, I feel like a lot of that is divine. Like, I feel like I don't really like to gravitate towards the phrase like everything happens for a reason, because it's like so hard to explain away so many of life's tragedies. But I do like to say, like, you experience everything for a reason. Like, everything just basically builds, like, the character of you, like, who you are. So it's crazy that you were in, like, two of the biggest cities in the U.S., especially, like, for creatives or for Black people. Like, San Francisco is hella creative. My cousin Q lived there for 7 years. I actually had him. He was on issue 2. And then Atlanta, of course, is, like, the Black Mecca. So, but it's, like, two very different cultures. I feel like Atlanta yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've never been to Atlanta or San Francisco, but
really,
yeah, never.
Wow,
never. And one of my best friends lives in Atlanta.
Wow,
Slim, she lives in Atlanta. But I'm trying to go this year. But
you would love San Francisco.
Oh, I know. My cousin lived there, like I said, for 7 years. He went out there for screenwriting, and he just talks about it like all. He's like, that's where I'm supposed to be.
I fell in love with it, and I couldn't afford it to be there really at the time.
Right.
But I haven't been able to find another place that I felt what I felt there.
Yeah. I just feel like California in general. Buki always be like, you want to be in California so bad. I'm like, what's wrong with California? Like, I fuck with California.
I think it depends on where you're at.
Yeah, right. But I've also heard a lot about San Diego.
Oh, yeah. I heard a lot. I haven't been, but I heard, like, it's just amazing.
I was there for, like, a day. And it was not enough. I didn't really experience nothing. I was, like, we did a day trip to Tijuana, Mexico on a whim, which is crazy. We literally walked across the border. It was crazy. But we spent, like, maybe 2 hours in San Diego. So I don't feel like I really got to explore it, but I feel like called there. So would you say, like, when you were in San Francisco or when you were in Atlanta, like, was there ever a point that, like, I know you said that you came back here and you were like, I gotta paint, but, like, so were you not painting at all out there? Do you feel like you gave up on painting?
I was just, like, in survival mode,
right.
You know, like, trying to survive. I'm trying to prepare for law school in San Francisco. In Atlanta, I'm just trying to get my footing. I'm trying to, like, work and get some money.
Right.
But my plan was to paint there because we picked out the place with the sunroom just for that, you know, but I just didn't get I'm working, like, constantly, you know, because I'm, like, 22 on my own in another city with no support. Like, you know, it was hard.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, it's like, but it's not terrible, but it definitely is like a character building. But it's what I'm meaning to say is terrible is how, like, survival mode, like, does not allow space for creativity a lot of times. It allows space for creativity in different ways. Like, you can get very creative about how you survive. But in terms of, like, painting and shit, like, you just don't really...
I didn't know enough about it. Like, I just wanted to do it. It wasn't until I moved back with my mom that I actually could be like, I can do this right now. Right. I don't have a responsibility now.
Right. Yeah,
I want to do that now.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like when you think about, like, if I had full-time availability to just do whatever I wanted, like, I could do so much, but we'll get into that in a second. But I guess a question for you is, I know you were in survival mode when you were there, but was there a time where you actually, like, gave up on it, where you were like, or outside of that, where you were just like, I'm not doing art? Like, has that ever happened to you? Like, have you ever gotten frustrated, like, so frustrated with your practice that you're like, or times where you have, like, a creative block for an extended amount of time where you're like, what if I can't, like, think of anything else? Or is that something that you don't really, like, struggle with?
Yeah, like I said, when I was there, I wasn't really thinking about it as much to be like, I'm not doing this. I just wasn't thinking about it.
Right.
And I had a space for it. But now that I'm in a practice, I don't think I've gotten to a point yet where I'm like, I can't do this. Or even if I do go through a creative block, I don't think of it like, I can't do this. Like, I just think it'll come.
When it's meant to.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's something that I had to really work. That's like a space I had to work to get to. But once I understood art as, like, a sole practice, then I stopped beating myself up.
We're not machines.
Right, exactly. I feel like inspiration comes to you when it's supposed to, and you can't create an idea out of thin air. Mm-hmm. Like, it's got to be informed by different things. So,
but sometimes you got to do the work to get that inspiration. Like, go travel. Or
facts.
Have conversations with people, or go on a hike. You know what I mean?
Honestly, my biggest thing I always say is a walk, like a mental health walk. I come up with so many ideas, and so many times I love music. Mm-hmm. So many times I have my headphones on just for comfort. I don't even have music playing. I'm just walking around in silence, just listening to the birds chirp and shit, just thinking. But a lot of times I also listen to, like, ambient music, like that song you sent me. Even though he does talk a little bit, like, it's mostly like an instrumental, you know. So you moved back here, you started painting. Now, how did you, like, what kind of flipped the switch from? Well, one, I did want to ask you. Sorry, I'm jumping around.
That's okay.
What type of law did you want to practice? Like, when you, like, what was your plan?
I was debating between family law and contract law. I wasn't sure, but I was leaning towards family law, but I'm also an empath. So I get super emotionally tied to things that I like shouldn't. Sorry. And I thought a lot about that too. Like, do I have the capacity, like mental capacity to even, or emotional capacity to really get involved in like people's family stuff like this and go home and not think about it, you know? So a lot of that I did like think about as I was like preparing for law school, like, is this something I really want to do?
Right.
And it wasn't. And I'm glad I did it.
No,
like sometimes people be like, today they be like, man, you really ain't go to law school. That's crazy. Like, you going to just do this? You going to be an artist and not go to law school? I'm like, y'all don't know me. Like, some people that's for some people.
Right.
You know, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's I don't know. It depends on what type of like how tapped in you are, and it's not to say that like people who go into law or others like similar professions ain't tapped into their soul self, but I just feel like, yeah, of course I chose to be an artist over a lawyer. I mean, what the fuck? Like, it feels more freeing, but that's us, you know, that's how we think.
Exactly. And it's so crazy because I was talking about my mom and how she like just made everything happen, whatever I want to do, you know. And like when I was getting ready to getting prepared for college, my undergrad, she was like introducing me to lawyers, like all types of lawyers.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And I'm asking them, like, is this something that you always wanted to do? Like, if you could change anything, would you? Every single lawyer that I've met was like, don't do it. Like,
just like Carson.
Literally. I'm like, they're like,
can I get a voice of like support and anything?
There was one black woman that was like, I love it, you know, but everybody else was like, is there anything else that you are interested in? Do that. Right. I'm like, okay, mom, this didn't work.
Right. That's crazy. And it's like because lawyers make so much money, like, or that's what the perception is. Like, right. It's like everybody's just
everything like, costs something though, you know. Right. It's like they be stressed.
Yeah. And it's like they probably feel the same thing that like people like me and you in like 9-to-5 situations like feel like in my 9-to-5 I'd be like, bro, what's the point of all this? Like, why am I here? Right. So just like on a cycle every week, like it's just draining me. Literally. So they're probably feeling the same thing, like, bro, if you got any, especially like, I don't know. It's like when they say like when you're rich and you touch so much money, you're like, oh, I wish everybody could get rich to see it's not the answer. But I take that perspective with a grain of salt because it's like money can solve a lot of people's problems. But at the root of it is something like to be said for that. So you moved back here, you start painting every day. How did you start getting like, or I guess what was the catalyst for you to start like trying to get your foot in the door in the local like art scene?
Mm-hmm. So I started just painting a whole bunch of paintings with no real theme or anything. And I was at my mom's house. My mom was always hosting. So people would come and see the art. It was all over the living room.
Right.
And my cousin was like, oh, you should, he collects shoes. And he was like, oh, you should paint a collection and like have a showcase. Like shoes. Like, you know, like people collect shoes and collect your art. You know, we didn't know much about art.
Right.
You know? So I'm like, ooh, that's hard. Yeah. So yeah, I literally went and like talked to God about it. Like, well, I don't know what this means, but something is clicking. Right. I want to do this. And the name 11 came to me. And I literally based the whole collection off of the number 11.
So I guess you kind of talked about this already, but like, do you, just for the record, like, would you have rather gone to art school? Like, if you could go back, would you be like, yes, like, I'm going to art school and that's it, that's all?
I don't know. That's a yes and no. You know, like I do feel like my political background, science and history background is important, you know, for who I am today. Like I'm a big advocate for a lot of different things. And I feel like it is shown in my art, reflected. Yeah, definitely. But also, I mean, of course, you know, getting more technical skills, having more resources and like, right. You know, just having connections outside of, you know, having to like just start from nothing.
Right. That's definitely like the hardest thing. That's something that I feel like I've struggled with too. Is just like so many times it's like I have questions and it's like, damn, like I gotta go to Google or I'll ask you a lot. But a lot of decisions that I have to make too, it's like, damn, I have to be the one to make the decision. Yeah. Nobody else is in charge. Literally. And I don't have like a background to like say, okay, this is what technically you should do, you know.
There's so that's no blueprint. There was no blueprint
at all. Okay, so your collection, 11. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so like I said, my cousin suggested I do a collection, and I didn't have any ideas on where I was going with it. I did pray about it, like what is this? And that's why I feel like everything happens in divine timing, like you said. Like I was getting a lot of no's when it came to like law school and stuff. Then everything started to fall in my lap, you know, when I decided this is what I wanted to do. So anyway, I literally that same day, I'm like praying, and I got the name 11 in my mind, and then built the whole collection off of like what that number meant to me spiritually. And I was actually going through a spiritual awakening at the time. Didn't know it, you know, but everything just kind of came together through that collection. And like I said, I didn't know anything or anybody in the art world at this time. So I'm just building the collection, and I'm like figuring out how to have an art show. So I'm just doing my due diligence on Google. Right. You know, because like I said, I didn't know no artist, not one. And I found a few galleries, but Boom Concepts was the one that I decided to go with. And I feel like that was like probably the best decision I could have made for my professional career, like as an artist at that time. And I had the show there, and they like taught me that it was not going to be a one pop-up show. I thought I'm just going to have my show here for my birthday. They're like, oh no, you're going to have it for the month. Right. You're going to have an artist opening. You're going to also have an artist talk. Right. I'm like, wait, what is this? Right. They're like, oh, and then we're doing First Fridays. You got to be here for that, for Unblurred in Lawrenceville. And I'm like, okay. So I learned pretty much everything from having my show there. Right. Really. And I met a lot of connections from that show. They brought a lot of people out, and I brought a lot of people out. So like it was like a really cool show. And then all my opportunities kind of like, it was like a domino effect from there, from like that one show. What do you
think that, like, well, this might be kind of unfair, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think that there was one person who kind of like was so integral to like your art journey, and just like in all areas, like whether they connected you to more people, so networking, or they introduced you to more, you know, ideas or opportunities? Is there like one person you can think of that really
like at that time, or just in general?
Well, we could do both. At that time, like who helped you really kick the door in, and then like in general, like who's been the overall like most influential?
I think at that time, Jules Malice, who is she's a muralist as well as like a digital artist. Okay. And their art is really, really beautiful. And they actually was the person I was connected to at Boom Concepts. They were working at Boom Concepts. They like installed the work, so I got to see how you actually install work. And they did everything. And then after that, they got a big commission to do Strawberry Way downtown.
I've seen pictures of you doing that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
They asked me to come in, like help, you know, them do it, and like paying me to do it. And I'm like, really? Like,
I'll do it for free.
Right, you know, but they paid me for my time, and I, you know, learned just about murals. This was probably a couple months after my first show. Yes, and then right after that, they got asked to do another mural downtown for like pedestrian signs from the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership. They couldn't do it because they were just too busy. So they introduced me to the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, and I ended up doing it. And I got, you know, my connects for, you know, the people who, you know, commission public art from them. So I think, you know, I don't think I've ever told them how much they played a like really important role in like my journey, but they did. But they were a part of Boom Concepts at the time, so I give a lot of credit to Boom Concepts in general. And the owners of Boom Concepts played a huge role too. Like I said, they brought a lot of people out that I was able to connect with, like curators and art collectors. So I got a lot of opportunities just from that one show. Like a lot of people were reaching out to me about doing different things. So Boom Concepts in general.
Right. That's what's up. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. And now it's crazy because if I'm correct, Boom Concepts, like, they almost not that they cease to exist, but they're into something much bigger now. So they're not boom concepts in the same way. They almost like their space doesn't really exist how it used to.
Yeah, because it used to be a public space for artists. Like a lot of musicians could come and perform there. They used to do a lot of shows and like parties, and they had gallery space. Like they had residency, so you could have studio space in the like downstairs. Like it was super cool. Like there was so many things that they did there. They just bought a bigger space, so they're just turning things up.
Yeah,
and I don't know in what direction just yet, but they still are super super supportive to the arts community in general. Still, they're both very available. To help artists in any way. Yeah,
I think that Pittsburgh is so unique in that like I don't know. It's like. Me being a self-taught artist and coming into art at such a late age, like my first work I ever publicly displayed was in 2024. So, and I kind of squeezed into that show because I had a friend. I had no idea how anything worked. Like, LA, LA. Mm-hmm. She was just like, yeah, bro, be a part of my show because she was partnering with Tacumba. Right. I didn't know nothing about it. Like, I wasn't even technically a part of that show. They just kind of looked out for the homie, but I got connected to Tacumba that way. So it's like, what I'll say about the Pittsburgh like art space is like, I feel like the art industry in general across the world can be very intimidating as an outsider coming in. But for Pittsburgh, I'll say that Pittsburghers are very like open. Like I've never felt like shunned by anybody or like unsupported. Like people always be like, oh, that's what's up. Like, what do you do? Like they try to, look out. So I think it's a very supportive space for artists to grow. And yeah, it's just cool how like everybody has like a different journey to like get input on. But yeah, that's interesting because I knew about your show, but I didn't like know like, okay, how do you go from the show to like, it seemed like it opened just so many doors for you.
It did. Like I literally like there was this one woman there who she like was a curator at the time, so she was finding opportunities to like for artists, and she ended up buying a few of my pieces, and then also like getting my art inside of the Pitt Community Center in Homewood, and just to showcase them. And they ended up purchasing all the pieces, just because she connected, with the director at the time. But yeah, like it was just like so many like things. Like I said, it was just like a ripple effect, like. Back to back to back. I'm like, oh, this is for me. And it was so different from, like I said, my journey trying to get into law firms and like go to law school. Like it was like so many hurdles.
Yeah, I was gonna say roadblocks.
Yeah, but then it's like this was like everything just was like falling in my lap. But it was like should. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm gonna invest my time and energy into. And I don't think that anything has discouraged me from like continuing to go yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I really believe in that because I even talked to your sister about that, like with the DJ and stuff. Like, it's crazy how you open yourself up to booking and now you are booked and busy. It's like I feel like when you're doing something you're supposed to be doing, it's easier than it is hard.
It's crazy because I literally like I'm trying to figure out like what I want to do next, and I'm working and I'm like struggling with work. Like I'm struggling real bad. Right. I'm like having a hard time staying there. Right. But I close my commissions because I'm like focused on building a collection, but also working. I don't have time for everything. Right. But someone told me recently, like, because I'm like, let me just apply to different jobs, maybe something I could be like remote 100%, not really having any success there. Someone was like, just open your commissions back up just to see. Right. This was last week. Okay. Booked. Literally like 5 different commissions.
Damn. Like I know people was probably just waiting. Like
yeah, I'm like, oh wait, hold up. I don't know. Wait, hold on.
But, right, like can I take it back? Like,
that's how it happened. I mean, it's just like the universe is very, very clear about like what's for you. You don't really have to. It's not a fight.
Right.
So.
Right. So do you feel like you? Well, I'm sure you have because I have this. Like so many times, I feel like I think about like work and then art, and I'm like working on my art, and I'm like, damn, if I just had like full time to pursue this, like I could get so much more done. But it's like your job just be in the way. Like literally in the way. It's like, bro, like, but you need to pay your bills. Like it's yeah.
It's like trying to survive, but also trying to survive. Like I need art to survive.
Right, exactly.
I need money to survive.
Right. Right. I actually heard about there's a country, I don't know if it's Switzerland or what, but they just started this program where they're giving artists, like creatives, like a monthly stipend, like a living stipend.
Yeah. I was just looking up Ireland. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, the United States literally could never. Like,
They could.
but they ain't going to. Like,
there's a round table coming up with, some policy. It's like a policy and change maker type of round table coming up, I think next week.
Oh, really?
And I got invited to go. And I'm going to bring this up because they keep asking us, like, our local government, how can we support artists?
Right. Money. Living expenses, for sure.
We're getting millions of dollars in for snow trucks.
Right.
Somebody got some connects.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we need to be making sure that artists are being able to, like, live off of their art.
Right.
So we need to start implementing some of the things that they're doing in Ireland and like these other places in like England, because I know a lot of artists. I was just talking to someone who said I can heavily consider moving.
Yeah.
To England because of how they treat their artists. They literally pay their artists to create because they really care about the culture that comes from these artists.
Right. And if you think of like back in the day, like Michelangelo times, or like whenever those sculptors were doing stuff, like they literally were sponsored. Right. Like that's back when billionaires actually used their money for good, not to send people to space for no reason. Right. Like they literally used to sponsor people and be like, yeah, like I'll pay all your living expenses. Just get really good at sculpting. You see them sculptures from back in the day. I'm like, this is a human just encased in clay. Like, literally. Like, they get all the muscle, like, all the different ways.
Because you got time.
Right. To really explore, but it's just like.
Imagine how beautiful our city could really be in so many ways if we really invested in artists the way that we needed to invest in artists. Right. Like, this is a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a calling. Like, we need money.
Yeah. And you just have, like, if you just have the time to fully explore it, like, I think about that all the time. So you, reference going through a spiritual awakening. I want to explore that in two ways. One, like what led to it, and two, I'm trying to like say this I already know, like, but I was trying to say it in a way that would like as if I didn't have any prior knowledge, but I'll just ask you up front. I know that your locks had something to do with that, so kind of like if you can like tie that in, like, or like how those two came. Like, I guess what made you like want to lock your hair, and how that tied into your spiritual journey. Like, what came first, the spiritual journey, the lock journey?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough question. I don't know what triggered like the spiritual awakening. I really don't. I just know like I was just like experiencing some weird stuff. Like very out of body stuff, and like I was just in like a weird space in my life where I was like challenging all the things that I like learned previously. Right. And I don't really know how to explain it, but it was just a very peculiar time in my life. And I didn't know I was going through a spiritual awakening. My hair wasn't locked at the time. I didn't realize I was going through a spiritual awakening until I created this this collection, 11. Like, I say this a lot, but I feel like our subconscious mind like precedes us. So I'm like producing something that I don't even know like what's going on. Right,
like something else is guiding you.
Yeah. Until I like was able to like step back from the work and like really analyze it and figure out how I want to, explain this to people as I showcase it. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going through like something that is so strange, but like I was like, my religious beliefs were changing, like my relationships with people were changing, like my relationship with myself was changing, like how I wanted to like eat. Everything was just changing in my life. I don't know, but I decided that I wanted to get locks like a year after I went through that. And I thought I was just getting my hair locked because I just wanted, I don't know, something was like, lock your hair. Right. So then I was scared to do it. I thought of it for a year, and then I decided to do it. And then I started like getting so connected deeper to myself because my hair was locked. And then I became like just more spiritual. And I feel like that's as surface level as I could keep it without like going super deep. But I do feel like they definitely are connected, like my spiritual journey, my spiritual awakening, and my lock journey. But yeah, my locks happened afterwards. And I kind of just got tired of like doing my hair, but I know that it was because I needed to connect with myself, more spiritually.
Right.
And I feel like after all of that, I have like fallen like in love with myself deeper after
Right.
going through my spiritual journey and like going through my lock journey.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, obviously, Black women in general, like, our connection to our hair is, it's a long history behind that. But I think, like, locks specifically, and I've learned more about locks just in the past, like, few years. I feel like your late 20s, like, your mid to late 20s, once that frontal lobe or whatever it's called, like, fully forms at 25, like, your brain's just like,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, I've learned a lot more about it too, and I think that it's interesting how your hair connects you to so many different things. But I see a lot of like Black women making art that literally it's like 3D hair attached. There was a couple. I wish I could remember their name.
I see a lot of it.
Yeah. I saw this girl like doing like braids like on a canvas, and I'm like, bro, like how are you? That'd be my thing with like most artists. Like, how are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but do you think, I mean, I know the answer is yes, but I'd like to hear it, like, through your lens. Like, your spiritual journey, of course, and, like, but, like, more specifically, like, your lock journey has informed your art practice. Like, how has that related to your art? Like, you think it's made you more connected to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, when I went through my lock journey, I did a whole collection based on Black women, and their like connection to their hair. But I think that like, my art practice in general is spiritual.
Right.
Like I don't think I can take the spiritual part of it out of it. But as far as like my locks go, yeah, I don't think that it's like a specific thing when it comes to my art, if that makes sense. Did I answer that?
Yeah, no, I hear you. So how would you say being self-taught informs your practice then? Like, do you think that since you've been in the scene for so long, like, do you think that kind of like you don't really subscribe to the self-taught, like, I had to get it on my own type vibe, or like, I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, like I feel like sometimes when you're a part of a community for so long, like you might feel like, okay, I'm here. Like I'm past that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I consider myself a self-taught artist. And you're asking how it influences. Like,
yeah, like how does it like inform your practice? Like, because for me, I feel like being self-taught is like, sometimes I feel like I identify too much with it. Sometimes it's like, I feel like you can over-identify with your struggle, right?
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes I feel like I just be like, well, I'm self-taught. I really had to get it out the mud. And it's just like, let's just shut up and make art. Like, like it doesn't matter how you got here. Like, you're here now, So is that like a lens you see like through your practice, I guess? Or like, do you always be like seeing your art, like when you're making art, you'd be like, well, I have to work twice as hard because I'm self-taught, or I have to,
I think that, I think it's challenging being a self-taught artist. I do think that I do think about that in my practice, like, when I'm creating art, because I feel like there is a little bit of a difference between a self-taught artist and a like artist who study art, because we like kind of practice from emotion as a self-taught artist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think that you get taught to kind of go like deeper than that. Like, what's the actual intention?
Right.
With the way that you're practicing, the materials you're using, the story you're trying to tell, versus like, I just felt inspired by this, or I just felt sad, so I wanted to paint. You know what I mean? So I think about that a lot as I'm like creating. It's like I'm proud that I'm a self-taught artist, because I feel like I am a skilled artist. But I like to think deeper. I like to challenge myself as I'm creating. Like, why are you creating this? And I'm constantly thinking about that. I'm constantly like thinking about how I'm going to tell the story, that is tied to a certain piece or like a collection I'm building. Like, so, it helps me just like think about it, just like deeper.
Right.
You know, like me being a self-taught artist. And I don't think artists that are taught art in school it's not that much, it's not hard for them. It's just kind of like,
right.
I don't know if I'm explaining that right. I won't say it's not hard for them, but I don't know if they have to think about it. Like,
It's almost like second nature for them because they've been bred to.
Like, this is how you become a successful artist. You got to do it this way.
Right.
But we're like, we're taught so differently. You know, we taught ourselves. So,
Right.
Yeah, but yeah.
So this is kind of like, I don't know if this is like a fair question because who's to say either way, but this might be kind of like a disrespectful question to art in general, but like, do you like consider like creating art just based off of emotion and not thinking like, well, what story am I, like not thinking that deep into it and literally just making it just based off of like how you're feeling and fully immersing yourself into art? Do you feel that to be more genuine than like pieces that like where you're expressing yourself and you're like obsessing over, okay, like what's the story, I have to stay on theme, you know, like what do you think is the more like genuine, like authentic approach to art and like feeling like as it is like a soul practice, if that makes sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think either could be genuine, you know, like some people are just not storytelling, it comes natural, you know, to some artists. And then, you know, I do feel like I'm a Pisces sun, moon, and rising, okay?
True Pisces.
So I do feel like the emotional part of it is very, very real. It's very genuine. And I did decide to make a piece just solely based off emotion before, like for me. And of course there was a story behind it because it was just like a natural, real story. So I do feel like, you know, they could go hand in hand. Like when you genuinely are painting from emotion, like there is a story behind that emotion. There's a reason why you chose that color palette. There's a reason why, you know what I mean? Like you did that paint stroke the way that you did that. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've never, and maybe just because I haven't been openly like operating in this space for as long as you have. Like I kind of like the way that I create is just what you said. Like I'll create because I'm like drawn to something and kind of the story becomes clearer like as I you know go on. But I don't like sit and be like, I mean, that's not, I mean, I don't know, it's like half true because like for my show, for example, like I knew the vision, like that I knew the overall story I wanted to tell. But as far as like making individual pieces of art, it's like I just be like drawn to whatever I'm feeling. And it's like then after I'm done, I'm like, oh, this symbolizes this because I like, you know, might have been feeling this or that. So that's interesting to me. I've never really thought about it like that's how they're taught to do art, like what story are you trying to tell? But it makes sense for setting somebody up for like success, like because you can't have no rhyme or reason. Like think of a music album. Music albums are supposed to, or at least they used to, tell a story. I always point to Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator is somebody that I point to a lot. He's one of my favorite like creatives, honestly, and I think he picked his name perfectly because he really is like,
you know, he's a Pisces.
Yes.
Okay.
I do know he's a Pisces. I do know he's a Pisces, but I respect Tyler so much because I feel like he's one of the only artists left that really like, you know, albums used to be eras. Like they literally used to like, this is who I am during this era. Now I'm a whole different person. Like he literally assumes a new character with every album. I can't even remember what the fuck I was bringing that up for, but I guess that would be a good segue into the next question that I had for you. Actually, was about your collection that you're building now. So before we get into like, we can give an overview about like your collection, but initially to bridge this gap, I wanted to say like, for this collection that you're working on now, like what space do you think you're operating more out of? Or is it like a split? Like, are you just, because it's so connected to you, like who you are as a person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's split. Definitely emotional, like super. Every piece I'm painting, I get emotional thinking about the time and like what, you know, the people were going through who I'm painting at the time, like what they were going through.
Right.
And like how that might have connected to me,
right,
you know, in some way. Like, so it's very emotional, but it's a story. Like I'm essentially telling like the story of my Black family in the 90s, but also like Black family story. We all have similar stories, to be honest. So And also like, you know, not trying to like make it all about me, but it's somehow coming back to like what made me who I am and like this creative that I am. So I think it's like it goes hand, the emotion and the story is like coming together.
Yeah, I think too, like art is so unique in that like you have so much, like, I don't want to call it downtime, but like because you're actively like working on it, but like as you're working on it, it's almost downtime because your brain is literally like outside of the thoughts that you have to have for, oh, let me paint this way or let me use this color. Like I be thinking when I be doing art, I be like, man, I really should blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like therapy. Like that's why people say it's therapy. So like when you're working on these pieces, like I could see how you could be thinking like, damn, what were they going through during this time? Like I could just imagine all the ways that your brain is going, like as you're painting these, because you're painting pictures of your family.
I'm like writing my thoughts like on the canvas.
Yeah.
I like paint over them, but sometimes I don't. Like I'll try to not paint over it completely. Like the one I did of me and my dad. I had all these thoughts going through my mind. So like I did a very light wash over the background. So like maybe somebody might be able to read it and see what I wrote, but I be writing my thoughts on the canvas.
Yeah, you do that a lot actually. Like, and I've not really seen people, not to say it hasn't been done, but like that's not something you see very often, is like writing on the canvas. Like when you first said that, I thought you were using it as like a figure of speech, and then I thought back to your pieces and I'm like, no, she actually be writing shit like on the canvas. Like, it's crazy. So I guess with that, do you want to give an overview of the project you're working on right now?
So I'm working on a collection. Just, you know, I'm a portrait artist, so like a lot of times when I'm doing commissions for people, they typically ask me to paint people who are no longer here. And I thought, like, I want to do something different. Like, I don't want to paint dead people all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people understand. Like, I can feel energy. You know, when I'm painting. And I don't want that all the time. So I'm like, okay, let me honor my family while they're still here. I don't ever want to have to paint a picture of someone that I love because they're no longer here.
Right.
You know, so that was the first thought. Like, I just want to honor them. I want to, like, and I want to make sure that I get, you know, make sure that these pieces are visible. Like I want my family to be on museum walls, and I want them to be able to witness that, you know, while they're still here. But then it just kind of started like developing as I started like creating the pieces and picking like the pieces I wanted to make, and like it got very specific to like the 90s, you know, because the 90s was such a like crazy time for like Black arts, period. Like when it comes to film, music, fashion, anything you could think of. Like the 90s had it like laid out for us. Decor, home decor. I'm really focusing on home decor. But
yeah, I always say the 90s to me is like the blackest decade ever.
Yes, it was a beautiful time, and like I don't feel like we got to experience it for real because we was babies. So that's what I'm like. We're trying to relive this, honestly. Like the way I dress. Now, from the music I'm listening to, and like just, you know, diving into this time, I'm asking my family all types of questions about the time period. I'm collecting household items from the time period. But anyway, yes, I'm working on a collection of my family based in the 90s, and you know, I'm really focusing on like the Black home, Black identity, and like Black creativity. I'm just starting to get more into Black creativity as I'm like painting an album cover currently of my dad and the group he was a part of, a rap group. And I love this album cover. I thought it was so creative in a lot of ways. So as I'm creating, I'm thinking about all of the Black artists that were creating like from homes, you know, before like Black art became this like mainstream thing. Like we were like, Black people were like raising artists in the house. Like my dad was recording out of a basement studio. Then even me now, I'm thinking of how I'm creating from like my second bedroom, and how a lot of artists are doing that. So yeah, it's like taking all these different turns, but it's coming together. And I'm like upscaling. These are the largest pieces I've ever worked on before. So I'm also like experimenting. Like I've never like did full body portraits either, so I only like focus on like the head to like the chest area. So you know, I'm learning a lot as I'm working on this, and yeah, that's all I can say about it, I guess.
You got a name yet?
No.
Which I don't blame you for, because sometimes, you know, I be like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need help naming this, and then I hear people's ideas. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Right.
I don't want to hear nothing.
It'll come
Right.
naturally.
I don't even ask people for help on naming shit anymore.
It'll come naturally.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna force it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially something where like you're honoring your family, like. But I know this because I know you. But you're looking to have a solo show for this. Do you have like a time frame for like a year that you want to have it?
Speaking of, I sent you an invite.
I did. I went to talk to you about that. Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I didn't respond because I'm like, I'm about to see her. So, yeah,
but
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm planning to have it done by the end of this year. I think that's a little bit of a I think that's ambitious, but I'm gonna try my best. But I'm not gonna force it.
Right.
I'm gonna keep on having studio visits and then inviting curators and connecting with curators so that someone could like pick the show up and be like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. So that might not be till 2028, but
Right.
I would love to have it next year. Yeah. But I have to build a big enough body of work. You do have to have a lot of work to have an actual like solo show,
Right.
like an accredited like gallery or museum.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I was also going to ask specifically about this, like you were talking about how like it was teaching you a lot about Black creativity and how, I feel like a lot of times like, well, no, not a lot of times, period. Black people are the most resilient group of people because of just everything we've been through, but like just in the face of like the things that we haven't been given. And I feel like creativity is something that like you are going to find a way out of no way, right? So like for instance, like your dad's rap group, like they were recording in a basement. Like how do you feel like you learn, like do you feel like you have like a self-taught gene in you from like that?
As I'm painting this, I'm thinking about the ambition that like they had at the time. I remember hearing stories about my dad, meeting Dr. Dre and being able to like play his music for him. Yeah, yeah. I know my dad was very ambitious, because he chose that life,
Right.
But yeah, I think about me. I think about how like that's in me. Like that don't come from nowhere.
Right.
The ambition that I have, like, being a self-taught artist and like paving the way for myself, the way that I have, and like still going, even though it's hard.
Right.
Pursuing a career in the arts is difficult, and I'm still going. And I think that, that it's like, that gene or that energy, that spirit is like, it's just been passed down.
Yeah, facts. Because I think obviously there's so many gatekeepers. There's gatekeepers in everything, but I feel like especially. I feel like art kind of gets a bad rap. Like I said, that's not necessarily my experience with Pittsburgh per se, but I just imagine coming up in a city like New York City, or like where you would think that there's like so much more opportunity, which there is, but like I'm sure that it's crazy hard to get into, like on a big level, like get into like the city art stuff. But yeah, I just feel like back then, like especially like now we have the world at our fingertips, but like your dad and his group like trying to make it in music, like bro, like that's where do you even start? Like you literally have to make a way out of no way. You don't got connections to nothing, like from even learning how to do the shit in the first place. Because your dad DJ'd a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because I've seen videos of him DJing.
He was a painter too. He was
for real?
He was drawing, so he did a lot of different creative stuff. But yeah, I can imagine how difficult it was, especially during that time where it's like this is when. Like there was more opportunity for Black musicians in the 90s, when we had, like people like Diddy and stuff,
Right.
So like I can't imagine how competitive it was because everybody was thinking they had an opportunity,
right?
So
but they had to run into like in-person opportunities too. Like they didn't have social media,
right?
Just upload
exactly. You had to literally force people to listen to your music,
right?
So that's one of the things I'm just honoring in this collection is like the pursuit of art, like especially. Like I said, when it's like something that is like in the home, it's something that's just like engraved in you. Like,
right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's like, they might not have been able to get to the places they wanted to, but I'm going to get them seen. People going to know who they were through my art, through me.
Right. So I will ask, do you feel like as a self-taught artist, you or maybe not so much now because, like I said, you're so established. But like especially when you were first, coming in to the scene, like, do you feel like you had to operate a certain way? Do you feel like you had more to prove, or like versus like artists that were formally educated or known already?
Yeah. Like when I first came into the scene, like I really just didn't know like how to operate. Like I literally just was like learning everything from scratch. I was just operating the best way I knew how. You know what I mean? Like I just was creating what I wanted, and like opportunity was just coming to me. So I really I didn't even have the like space to think about like other artists and like what the advantages they might have had, because I felt like I was like that girl from the jump. Right. Like, I don't know. Like I really do. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was a good answer. I feel like something that but I'm like this in all aspects of my life. Like, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I need to go harder because, I could really be doing X, Y, and Z. Like, there's all these opportunities, whatever. But I really need to work on, just focusing on, like, sometimes I feel like I need to remember that, like, me being emotionally and spiritually connected to my art is enough. Mm-hmm. And whatever I put out is what I put out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, what opportunities you get. Like, those are all cool, but, like, that's not what it's about anyway.
Yeah.
So the real blessing is just if I can get to a place where I'm doing this full time every day just because it's what feeds my soul and it will be the best for my mental health, I'm cool with that.
Right.
So, but I did want to know if there was one thing that you could change about the art world. Is there anything you would change? Like, in general, is there anything you don't like about it, or something that you do like that you wish was more prevalent?
The art world.
Mm-hmm. The art world.
Not Pittsburgh, but the art world.
Well, we can do both.
What would I change about the art world? I mean, I think that more access for emerging artists, like more opportunity for emerging artists. Like, I feel like we don't invest enough in emerging artists. Like, we feel like emerging artists gotta jump through so many loops and hoops to get to like acknowledge, and I don't appreciate that, and that's even just with like music too, like it's just like we need to start investing more in that, especially in visual arts. It's just like we don't have people really like going out looking to see like who's the next best artist, you know what I'm saying? And we need that, like we need more art managers. Like, how in the music world they have art managers, you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
We need people we need help, people who are looking for opportunity for us so that we could focus solely on creating and not the whole business side of things, because a lot of us are not good at that, and which is a big reason why a lot of artists don't get grants, because they're probably thinking like, are you good with money? Can you manage money?
Right.
We need managers, and we don't. There's not a lot of like managers or like curators who are focused on like they got 3 artists whose career they're like focused on. Right. Like we need that.
That's something that like you said, like the music industry has that they really should have, because I talk about that all the time with DJ. Like I'm always like, bro, like, because he's real business minded, and granted, I have my MBA, but I don't. It's like, I know about business by education, not because I like enjoy it. Right. Like, so I always say to him, like, I wish like anytime somebody reaches out to me for a piece, like I hate even pricing shit, because 1, I don't really know how to still. I'm still learning. But 2, I'm always like, it's so mean. Right. But also I don't want to spend like, you spend a lot of time doing shit. So it's like you also want to be paid. It's like I don't even want to. I just want to like make the piece, and that be once y'all start talking money, talk to my manager. Yeah. Like I don't want nothing to do with that. So.
Literally. So we need more of that. Like, I don't know how to even, I don't know if that's a thing, like, outside of like big cities. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I wish that we had more of that.
They do like gallery representation. Yeah. But I don't know if that's like the same thing.
I think it's a little bit different. Yeah. So yeah, I think if that's in general, I would change those things about it. And then there was it was a 2-part question.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh. about the Pittsburgh art scene?
I think it's the same for the Pittsburgh art world, you know, but really investing, like I mentioned earlier, like financially, like the city, not these independent funders and these nonprofits.
Yeah.
Because they picking a couple people, that's it, you know what I'm saying, a year. But actually having government funding that goes into the artist that's not regulated. Like, this is for housing, this is for food, this is so that you could focus on this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to focus on surviving. Like, that is a big thing for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is honestly, like, my biggest dream. Because if y'all could just give people even like $1,000 a month, like, could take a lot of weight off of people.
Literally.
Because that's somebody's mortgage or somebody's rent payment. I mean, it might not be all of it, but you know,
literally, you could pick 500 artists a year, who's, you know, that's practicing artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that? How much money is that? I'm not good with that. See,
but, well, I mean, one person at $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. So, you know, I mean, that's not, but in the grand scheme of things, like, we pay so much in taxes. Like, I'm sure they got the money to go towards
That's
something.
what I'm saying. Like, when we got this new mayor and he had people donating millions of dollars for these snow trucks, it's like that.
And with the snowstorm, what happened? They said 34 trucks broke down.
That's what I'm saying. So that's how he got all that money. Like, it's like that. Like, here's $1 million. Here's $2 million. Somebody got connects.
But yeah, I feel like if we gave people like a stipend, just to get people out of survival mode, that would be great. But yeah, I had a spin-off question before about how you said like obviously now you're doing this collection and that's like your next show. So you had to also learn a lot about like grants, and that was something that was new to me too. Like grants, or just like even how to run a show, and like how was that? Like, do you feel like you had to do a lot of research like on your own, or like I'm sure your connections helped you a little bit, but like what was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, I learned from just talking to artists and like, you know, some of the people I was meeting, but I had no idea that like there was just money that
sitting there
that you can apply for as an artist to practice. I had no idea, but you know, I did start small. I started applying to like micro grants, and I got a few micro grants, and then now even applying for the larger grants is a lot of work still for me, and it's very difficult, and I haven't gotten like the bigger ones that I really want yet, but I'm still learning. Like I'm still learning like the language and what do they need. It's hard, but yeah, I'm still learning.
Yeah, that was something actually I learned from you, like about the grants and stuff. Like, oh, you don't have to pay for everything out of pocket. Well, I mean, you do have to, but you can get grants to help you.
Right.
You know, that idea of like creating art without putting your own investment into it was like foreign to me, and I was like, damn. So, you know, that's something that I'm trying to get into this year, and you know,
it's a whole job in itself.
Literally, that's why people hire grant writers.
Oh, I know.
Like,
it's very, very difficult, and it's hard. Like, and it takes up so much time and energy. And honestly, I don't love it. You know, I don't love the grant process because I feel like it also takes away from your creativity sometimes. Like, sometimes you gotta sell what you think they want to fund. And that might not always be what you actually want to do, but you kind of got to do whatever you sell if you get the grant, you know, and I don't love that.
Yeah, and then you got to, like, the thing that I'm stressed about with, like, I mean, I haven't gotten any yet, but, like, the thing that I'm, like, stressed about for getting them is, like, damn, what if your, like, plans change, or, like, you, like, say you asked for, or you put this in your budget, but you really decided to go with this because it will suit your vision more. It's like the whole reporting back on exactly what you said is very stressful.
It's like, very stressful, and it's restricting. Like I said, it's just like
they should be unrestricted grants, but at the same time, I get
there are some unrestricted grants.
Oh, really?
But the bigger ones, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if they're giving you like 50 bands, like they're not.
No.
You're not about
5,000 and less. You might be all right. But...
That's why I'm like, damn, that's stressful. Like I gotta like. If I would get it, like, it's like, damn, that's like almost like a whole reporting on it is like a whole nother job in of itself.
It is. It's like everything is taken away from us creating, and people don't understand that, like governments.
Right. It's like they put somebody who might be in the art scene in charge of like this portion or this like department that disperses the grants, but they don't like, the government, like whoever they have to report to, Like, they're not going for just anything. Like, they say, oh, we want to give this much $50,000 to artists. The government will be like,
but why do you need so much control over,
Right.
like, what the artists are doing? As long as you're staying connected with the artists, seeing that they're creating work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you need so much control?
Right, and the thing is, it should, like, no matter what they spend it on, it's supporting them, because even if they spend it on...
I gotta eat.
Right,
I eat all day because I've been painting for 12 hours and I'm
Exactly.
hungry and I need to go to the store and get me some food.
Right.
But I can't use this grant to eat.
Right. But I need, like, but also it's like, you almost have to create full time to even like have the work to report on. So it's like, bro, how am I not supposed to spend any of this for, like, living expenses? Like, I don't get that. Like, I'm just like,
I gotta use my card to go to the art supply store.
right.
I need gas.
Right.
I can't
Right.
give my gas receipt.
Bro, literally, like, I don't get that. Like, y'all want to be hitting on somebody so bad. Y'all don't want people to take advantage so bad. And it's like, bro, if you're helping me live, you're helping my art.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand.
As long as I'm practicing.
Right. All right. So a question that I do like to ask too is, so I came upon this idea, the term rich life. I can't remember what I watched that introduced me to that phrase, but basically your rich life is, like, not necessarily related to finances. It's like, it's kind of self-explanatory, I guess. Like, what you see your life as, like, what you would see your life as that would make you feel rich. Like, rich in spirit, rich in experience, rich in love, whatever. So if you could describe what your rich life looks like.
I feel like I visualize this all the time.
So do I. I'm like,
and what I see is, like, myself in, like, this beautiful home, you know,
period.
and, like, the lighting is just very beautiful. Like, just, I'm really big on, like, lighting, and, like, it's full of, like, art from all types of different artists, from, like, the tables to the art on the walls, you know, the glass I'm drinking out of. Like, everything is, like, me supporting artists,
Right.
you know. I know you said take finances out of it, but, you know,
that's
that's
a part of it, though.
yeah, that's how I visualize my life, is, like, really being a rich life for me is, like, one, just being an artist without having to worry about finances.
Right.
Being able to support other artists and, like, just, like, being, like, at peace. And I think, like, being at peace is not having to worry about finances. Like, I don't know how to not think about that, but yeah, that's really just how I, like, see it. Like, just being able to, like, be as free as I could be, where I could, like, go out of the country because I want to get some inspiration and,
Right.
like, paint all day long without an obligation to do anything else, you know, like, just that freedom and being able to, like, leave, like, a legacy for, like, my family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the rich life for me.
Yeah, I think what I should have said was, don't take finances out of it. But that's, like, when you hear rich life, you think, like, oh,
I just need all this money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I think about that all the time. And there's actually studies that say, like, the average person, like, you only need, like, basically you only need the level of money to where all your needs are taken care of, and you can do anything you want without having to worry about, you know, while spending, like, responsibly. But as soon as all your needs are met, like, you actually, like, say that number is, like, $200,000 a year. Like, from $200,000 to $500,000 a year, your life isn't really much better. Like, it's like, once your needs are met, basically what they're saying is, once your needs are met, like, anything else is, like, not actually making you any happier. But the people say, like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. It definitely does. Like, to the point where your needs are met.
Right.
Like, if your needs aren't met, you're not happy. I'm sorry. Like,
Absolutely.
Like, I never got that. And I also think that people who have mad money are always the ones, like, purporting that, like, that statement. And it's just so, like, tone deaf to me.
I think, yeah, it's like I don't think that they have everything that they want. Money really, I don't think is going. You might have your needs met, but you don't have people. You don't trust people.
Right.
You're not probably a good person
Right.
because you don't trust people. You don't have relationships. I think that's a really important part of life. Like,
Right.
and I should have said that when you asked me that question, because I thought about, like, just love in general, and not just, like, romantic love. Even though romantic love is important for a rich life too, but, like, just love around you, period.
Right.
And a lot of people with money, like, you don't know people love you for you.
That's a fact. That's why, like, if I know this is like a pipe dream fantasy, whatever, but like, if everybody could be at that level, like if we actually had a government that supported us, like if everybody could be at that level where all your needs are met and we're all just like
dilly-dallying.
Yeah, literally dilly-dallying. Like, bro, like we could have like a second golden age, like especially in like arts and creativity. Like, look at how much more beautiful the world could be if everybody had their needs met and people weren't like, it even goes down to like the poverty level. Like, people weren't slamming each other out because they can't eat. You know,
people won't be afraid to go to, you know, the hood because they think they're going to get robbed because these people don't, you know, their needs are met.
Right.
You know, it's just like we could really invest in deeper connection.
Right.
Because that's really what the human experience is about at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think to solve the this is like a known fact, but like, yeah, to solve the crime issue, you have to solve the poverty issue because all crime comes from poverty. So I don't know, there's just so much creativity in the world that doesn't get realized because, you know, people don't have access to things. And actually you could argue that, you know, people in the most impoverished areas are the most creative. Like, I think Issa Rae did an interview and she was like, there's so much creativity in brokenness. And that's so true. Like, when you don't have access to what you need, but you got a vision,
make it work.
Exactly, make it work. Like, whether you need to, you know, I mean, this is like so not on that level, but like, for example, this is so like first world problems, but like, this is a photography camera I keep cutting out, but like, I know I want to do these videos, so I'm using it because I got to do that, you know. So there's better examples I could give, but yeah, like I think that if we solve the poverty issue, the world could really flourish. But
and there's enough money out here.
There is. Actually, they said that they could solve world hunger. I think the price tag on it is like 1.3 billion. But it's just like, we just don't do it because, I mean, we just live in a capitalistic society, and it'll fall though. I have faith that it'll fall. I hope that it'll fall.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe in our kids' kids.
I'm like, we might need like a French Revolution or something. I don't know. But the last question is a secret question that you only know if you've watched other interviews with, which nobody watches.
Oh, it's the same question?
Yeah, for everybody. So the last question is, if you, all right, if you could go back in time and tell baby or child Ashanté anything, what would you tell her?
You know, I talk to her a lot.
Okay, period.
And I would tell her that just keep going. Like, don't stop, don't give up, and that's pretty much it. Like, I tell myself all the time, my inner child, which is her, like, I'm so proud of you. Mm-hmm. Like, when I do something that I wanted to do and I like visualize it and I see it come to life, I'd be like, I am so proud of you. You know, you did it. Like, you know, I talk to myself like I'm a kid, but I talk to her every day, so she knows.
Period. Yeah, it's crazy because actually I asked Kayla that and she started crying. She was like, oh shit, because she was my first issue, so she ain't know what was coming. And you know, I think there's some people who speak to their inner child and there's some people who don't, but like, you know, I think in life you get to a point where you really start to realize, like, I gotta nourish my inner child.
And I think painting is the way that I do that. Like, that's how I like honor my inner child.
Yeah,
I'm like a kid in the studio. That's why when we go, you'll see it's a mess. Like a kid's room.
No, for real. I used to apologize for the state of my studio. I still do. But people are always like, it's a studio. I think you were the first person. You were like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, the studio is what it is. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's a workspace. But yeah, well, that was beautiful. Thank you for being my cover star.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and yeah, that was Unscripted with Ashanté. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.